What's up, guys? WoT the Fell-Handed here. Welcome to my multi-part series called The Art of the Bat Chat. I will be doing this on multiple high-tier mediums. Here we go. We are on Redshire Standard Battle in the Bat Chat 25T French Tier 10 medium. Now, typically when you start on the south spawn, what I like to do is head for the hill there at F8. Excuse me, sorry, F4. You don't want to go to F8. Now, the idea here is I always want to take this hill. That's what I recommend you should do. The hot gates at E0 is typically where all your heavy tanks are going to go. As you know, Bat Chat is not a frontline combat vehicle. To those who can make it such, bravo. I, however, am not that guy. I do not recommend you take this tank anywhere near the front lines. If you've watched my previous videos, if you were shooting someone in the front, you're doing it wrong. This is a flanker just like every other medium. So right now I'm posted up in a tiny little bush. Sometimes what mediums like to do is post up there at D7 and fire on the column approaching. You see our column going to the bottom right there. Sometimes they post up at D7 and put rounds on them as they go in. This is to counter that, because as soon as they fire, they will immediately be lit up. They will back down the hill, and from this position you can put fire on their location. That being said, we're just kind of waiting around. We're being very patient right now. And, you know, let me explain, before we got to this location, we have decided, you know, who is going to be forward scout and so on and so forth. So we've got guys in the trench. You know, if you are not scouting, or I mean, this is a perfect location if you're solo, okay? But if you're not scouting, this is most likely where you want to go, because you don't have to be on the front line. Now, if you're scouting yourself, you're spotting your own targets, you do not want to actually fire that much, obviously, because as soon as you fire, you'll get spotted. Typically, that's what happens. So right now I'm 6 cents. I'm going to go ahead and back down the hill, and I'm dumping the mag, because it takes on average 8 to 10 seconds for your 6 cents slash detected to go off, and you know that'll go ahead and give us a jump on the next clip. You never want to pull back up until your 6 cents is all the way off. This way you are completely safe. Now right now I am looking for someone who is isolated. If I see someone who's isolated, I'm going to make a pass. Like this Leopard PTA is a prime target. I could go through there, I could fire 1 to 2 shots, make sure I connect, and finish him off, assuming you don't get any troll bounces. We've got a Carnarvon, how the fuck you say it, off in the background there. We're going to go ahead and try to put a few rounds in, and we're being very successful. He hasn't moved from that location, so we're going to continue to put rounds down range, and we're connecting. So we're, you know, that last round just happened to miss. He must have got out the way, but you know, we got a lot of good things from that little burst there. So the enemies are bunching up on the left hand flank here. Typically that's what they tend to do. This situation we are in right now is a waiting game. You do not want to get too jumpy. You don't want to go in, you don't want to sacrifice too much of your health very early. You want to maintain your health. This is never so much important as it is in the Bat Chat. This tank is a monster mid to late game, because you can clip out the majority of tanks, because you know very rarely are you going to have a tank that is full health. And the goal here is to get tanks off the board with this tank right here. This tank is not something that just picks at someone. This tank is something that comes in and just completely obliterates you and moves on. Now, we are moving up into this trench. I feel comfortable enough we can own this trench, and I'm going to go ahead and move up to the next trench here. We've got a little something going on up here. We're going to see if we can't squeeze a few shots in. You have to be very careful. You don't want to overextend yourself. It's very easy to do in this tank due to it being extremely fast. We just took a round right there. We're doing very well on our return fire. You know, they're in a good spot. They're hull down. It's at this point I'm kind of backing off a little bit, because I realized we've pushed our advantage about as far as it'll go. So now it is time to fall back and reload. This is a perfect hit and fade tank, and you need to use it as such. You don't want to go in and sling it. You want to have an exit strategy at all times. when you get down to your last 2 rounds, you want to already have your tank aimed at where you are leaving. So you need to have the exit strategy locked down as tight as possible. So right now you can kind of see, just watch your map. Always run your tactical map in the bottom right hand corner so you never have to switch. Your eyes are always facing where the gun is, and that's how you need to kind of operate this tank. You need to be aware of what's happening at all times, and that goes for any tank. You need to be aware. You're not going to be the worse for it if you know what the hell's going on. So right now we have a guy over here in the corner. Not a big deal when you look at the majority of what's going on the board here. And if they went strong on their right flank, this could have just as easily been the other way, because we had quite a number of mediums and fast movers over here. So you have to adjust to that. In the case that they decide to push, you need to have an idea when they're going to push, and you need to have an escape plan for when they push. Like I said, when you're running up to clip somebody out, you always have to have an escape plan. You have to have an exit strategy on almost everything you do with this tank. You can't just pick people. You have to go in and completely remove them from the game. You always have to assume that you're going to bounce a round or 2 when you go in to try to clip someone. So you just have to be prepared, and that's what this video series is going to be all about. We are going to prepare you and make you successful. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like my video, share my stuff.